Okay, so there are a lot of different ways to attach the cover. In some cases, you actually attach the first signature to the second signature and then go back and attach the cover. You can also attach the cover to the first signature and then proceed. So it's really up to the book artist to choose what kind of approach they want to use. In this example, I'm just going to attach the cover directly to the first signature, and I'm going to do that by going around the outside and in through the top. Oh, and I should mention that before I actually start stitching, I want to double check that the side that I've marked as the top on the cover matches the side that I marked on the top for the signature. Okay, you want to keep those aligned. Okay, so then I come out and pull it tight, not so tight that you're ripping the paper, but just snug. Okay, then I'm going to do the same thing with this. And see there, coming up. And make sure you're not making a knot. And on this one, I actually came out on the inside of that, and I want to match that. So both of these are coming out on the inside. Okay, the inside and the inside. Now I'm going to pay attention to the little X that I have marked. Align that with the side that is the top. Okay, and now I find it easier to go ahead and open the signature that I've just placed. Okay, open it to the very center. Whoops. And then take the needle and insert it. Okay. I'll zoom in on the next one. So insert the needle in the hole, push it in a little bit, open it up, and then pull it snugly. Don't wrench it down so that you're, ripping your paper. Okay, now comes the part that gets a little bit tricky, but it's not too bad. Kind of pull the opposite thread outward, okay, so that you have a little bit of space in that hole that you can insert the needle without actually going through this thread. I mean, it isn't the end of the world if you do, but it makes your thread knot a little bit easier, and so it can cause a little bit of trouble. So try to insert the needle next to the thread, but not through the thread. Okay, and then pull snugly. Okay, but once again, not tight. If you pull it really hard, the paper will rip. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing. We're switching the sides that the colors are coming out. Okay, so in each signature we're going to have an aqua and a yellow thread here, and then we'll have the same thing here. Okay, so we've gone over the cover with our first color of yarn, thread, and now we are coming out of the second signature with our opposite color of thread. And try to keep this, the direction of your stitches consistent. So if you come up from the inside and go to the outside in this, then do the same thing in successive knots and signatures that you sew on. I'm going to go, actually I'm going to do it the opposite way. I'm going to go in from the outside, and I'm not just going under this top thread. Okay, I'm not just going to go under this top thread. I'm going to go under both that thread and this more hidden thread. Okay, I'm going to go through both of those loops, the thread that comes out on the top and the thread that went underneath the cover. Okay, and I'm going in from the outside and coming out in the center. Okay, when I get a fairly small loop, I go back and under like so. So I've made an actual little knot. Then I'm going to tighten it. Okay, and the wax helps it to stay tight. Now I'm going to do the same thing with this, the yellow thread. I'm going to go in from the outside of this stitch. You got to think of these two as a pair, and in between is the inside, and on the outside of this pair is the outside. Okay, so again, I don't want to just go through that top loop, but I want to go under that little hidden loop that's on the inside of the cover. And it works best for me to kind of push down the back of the needle. It makes it a little bit easier to grab the tip of the needle. Okay, pull it through until there's, you know, not a huge loop anymore, and then go back through that. And then tighten it. If you're using all of your strength and yanking on the thread, you will rip your paper, and you know, it isn't the end of the world if that happens. It's really easy to do, especially if you're pulling off to the side, because that paper will just rip as the string tightens too much. There are ways to fix it, and I can show you how to do that. Okay, double check. This is the top, whereas the way I'm holding it, this feels like it is the top. So when I lay the signature down, I want to match this X with this one. So I'm going to lay it like so. This helps all of the pierced holes that you've made line up nicely. Otherwise you can get, it can look really like wavy lines instead of more straight. Open this up to the very center. Take your needle and go through. Now this needle hasn't gone all the way through the center, it's actually coming up off to the side. So what I want to do is take it out. If you get the thread kind of twisted, you want to untwist it before you try to pull it through the pierced hole. Otherwise you can make the hole really big because you end up ripping it as you pull that knot through. Okay, so the pattern that we will be following is when we came out of this second signature, we looped around. We actually went one above the signature that we were working on. Okay, so in this case, let me actually pull this a little bit tighter. Okay, so in this case, we're going to come in from the outside and up on the inside through this, in between the first and the second signature now. Okay. Pull it until there's a little loop. Go back down through it and pull it snug. Okay, same thing with this side. The signature between the first and the second, or the space between the first and second signature. Pull until there's a small loop. Pull until there's a small loop, and then okay, and then we'll continue this with these two sewing stations all the way across until we have the number of signatures that we want. We could end our book here. We could have it extend, this far. It could even be, like 2 feet wide if we wanted. For our purposes, we'll just keep going with a few more signatures, and then I will show you how to attach the other cover.